Divide and conquer. Hello, I suppose many of you realize this type of manipulation is going on, but just in case, consider this. People all over the planet are pretty much the same. In general, everybody just wants to live in peace. So yesterday I got annoyed when I heard from friends that supposedly these two countries have started bombing each other. And it's so manipulative that it gets presented like that, because a country is not a living being. It cannot bomb anything. It's only people who can do things like bomb one another. And in those countries, or any country, who actually wants to send bombs somewhere? It's not Johnny in the street here and Billy in the street over there who want to kill one another. They have no reason to. They don't even know each other. So what's really going on? I think it's divide and conquer, with the goal of making people over here afraid of people over there and angry with them, and the same for those over there towards people over here. So that while we're upset with one another, we don't focus on the few who plot this whole charade, in order to divert our attention so they can continue to do things we wouldn't accept if we noticed them. You know how it's done. We hear the same thing all day, all over the place, repeated as if it was obviously true, and it's always to say that if things are bad, it's because of someone presented as different, not one of us. Among the most transparent lies I remember, there's the images of this young nurse who was crying, telling how in Kuwait she saw soldiers in a hospital pulling babies out of incubators and leaving them to die on the cold floor. This was before the Iraq War, and it was used to justify this war. It's only afterwards that it came out that she was never a nurse. She was the 15-year-old daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador, recruited to lie on camera. The same lie that was used a century ago about German soldiers allegedly killing Belgian babies in 1914. And that time too it was used to justify a war. Once we realize we're being lied to so shamelessly, we're more careful about not getting fooled again. So this story about countries bombing each other, if we take time to think, we realize it's a distortion of reality, since the way it is said, it doesn't make sense. Again, because countries can't do anything, only people can. But we're being rushed not to take time to think. On TV, radio, in print, it's pretty much a non-stop series of distortions. And if we want to follow what's being said, we need to accept, at least temporarily, to picture things in the way they're presented with these distortions. That even though it's not how things work in reality, in a distorted way of thinking, it's possible to have a country attack another. And we can end up accepting images that partly make sense, even though they're false, which pushes us to see people we don't know as enemies. So it takes effort to watch, listen, and at the same time keep a clear mind and avoid letting into our thinking thoughts that are distortions that manipulate us in order to control us. That's the reason why I avoid TV, radio, print, movies, and series. Because I see how full of manipulation they all are, pushing us to see the world in distorted ways that get us to see things that aren't good for anybody. Not even those who plot all this. They would be happier if they were less afraid. I think it's unconscious fear from childhood that makes them so unhappy. Another example, Olympic Games. Have you noticed how the pleasure we get from watching athletic excellence is used to divide us by drowning us in images of flags and uniforms and constant mention of countries? To really drill it into us that we're from this one country and others are from this or that other country. Divide and conquer. If you like this type of examining what goes on in our mind and in the world, there's my other videos.